he's certainly done his part in the series against the Kings. Look at this. His last 14, he's got a goal a game plus 12 assists. So basically, 2 points a game against the Kings in the playoffs. German engineering. Wow. He is special. And this team, Los Angeles fans had to know they were up against it, playing against an Oilers team that once they got past that shaky start in the season, really came on strong. What impressed you the most about this win for the Oilers in the series?
Well, their special teams, their power plays, deadly. You just can't take all the penalties that LA did. I'm going to say this and get it out of the way. They got the short end of the stick tonight on
tough whistle for Los
penalties,
Angeles,
especially the embellishment call to Fiala when the game was in the balance and it was
could have been a 5-on-3.
Could have been a 5-on-3. I just didn't like it. Now, having said that, Edmonton's the better team. They deserve to go on, but Kings end up taking too many penalties. So now there's the embellishment call we're talking about on Fiala. He's walking around. They're already on a power play. What's he going to do? He's not going to go down on purpose. He's going to the net there. It's a 2-2 game. I didn't like it. This one I don't love either, but it was a little contact to the face. It's the playoffs. I just want them to be a little better feel of the game. It happens. I'm not trying to
the official
beat up on the
human.
rest.
We know that.
Yeah, but in particular, the Fiala one changed the complexion a little bit. And again, I will preface, Edmonton's the deeper, better hockey club. They deserve to move on. Their power play's deadly. They're a much deeper team. They've added Henrique. Zach Hyman is potent now. It's not just about McDavid and Draisaitl, the dynamic duo. Skinner, solid enough in net. This team's more equipped on the back end to play, big boy hockey, as we like to say, come playoff time.
And they won a 1-0 game.
And they won a 1-0 game.
Which is very odd.
So, yeah, but I did want to point out, I want to be fair, Jim Hiller was upset, the Kings coach, on numerous occasions. And I think he's got a point in this one in particular. But it happens throughout a playoff series. You were down 3-1. And your backs really are against the wall. It was going to be tough to come back.
I mean, to lose against the same team 3 years in a row is tough for the LA fans, for the LA organization. I mean, you've got to figure out a way to go through them, evidently, because you've been knocked out 3 straight years. So, but this series here, like we talked about special teams, they had the #2 penalty kill in the NHL all regular season, the Kings. So you think they made it look like they've never killed a penalty before. That just shows you how potent it is, and whoever they play next, guess what? You better stay out of the box or you're going home too.
In this game, they were 1 for 5, but as you guys pointed out when we were watching, some of the Oilers' goals happened right after the penalty had expired.
Yeah, the third one was 2 seconds right after he stepped out there when Draisaitl scored that goal.
Even if they don't score, and what were they, 50+%?
Literally.
Yeah.
In the series, they're right around 50%.
Momentum, you're right, because
incredible.
When all these top players for the Edmonton Oilers get a lot of touches, feel good about the game, that translates to your 5-on-5 game as well. So, yeah, you have to be careful. They are a contender. They are a Stanley Cup contender for me if their goaltender, Skinner, can continue to just be solid. This team added the pieces I think they need this time around. And we always say, you don't win without role players. You don't win without unsung heroes. There's a lot of pressure on McDavid and Draisaitl, but I think some of that's been taken off of them.
Oh, sure. Hyman.
Stronger supporting cast, without a doubt.
And Kane's starting to heat up. He's playing some good hockey. Nugent Hopkins always does his job. Good 200-foot player. But, again, the insulation for McDavid and Draisaitl, to me right now, they have to be feeling a lot better right now as they move forward going, yeah, we dominated again against the Kings. We got all kinds of points, but they don't necessarily have to win games with just McDavid and Draisaitl having 1 and 2 at the end of the night.
Well, especially when you can get Kane hot, the secondary scoring with Hopkins and Hyman scoring. But I mean, the way they move the puck through the power play, give and goes through the middle of their triangle is amazing. I mean, that's just them saying, "Hey,
beautiful."
There's nothing you can do to defend us." So they're very confident, and it's something that has to be addressed if you're playing against them.
Torch, what about Los Angeles? Because this is the end of their season. As you pointed out, they've run into the roadblock now 3 years in a row. Los Angeles hasn't won a series now since the 2014 Stanley Cup Final. It's been 10 years. Hiller took over on an interim basis for McClellan, who was fired. What's the future look like for the Los Angeles Kings?
Well, I mean, they didn't get really secondary scoring at all. I mean, Dubois, he's really their number 2 centerman. I think he had 1 point in the 5 games. The power play, they only had 12 power plays in 5 games. That's something that has to be kind of addressed too. You know, that's 2.2 a game. That means you're not really working, you know,
drawing those penalties.
Yeah, battling, competing, and all those little scenarios. But I mean, you have to get some scoring from your top 2 lines.
Trevor Moore was the team's leading goal scorer during the regular season. He struggled in the series, had 1 goal in the first game, was not able to get back on the scoreboard. For Los Angeles, a disappointing end to a promising season.